Okay, back again. Now that we've had 2 successful rock pours, I'm going to start with a swirl this time. And actually, now I'm going to pinch the snout, and there we go. See, there's an orange, gold, and yellow in there. I'm going to pinch the snout and back up. I'm going to start down here on the paper plate first. I want to see what I'm going to get first. And that looks pretty decent. So, then we'll come up here and I'm going to start pouring. And it'll swirl itself if you'll let it. And just be easy. If you pour fast, it will run fast. If you pour slow, it'll pour slow. I like to keep the end of this pinched. I'm going to let this run off the end. Just because it says, I want something covering my nose out here. You can see I missed a little spot up under there. We're going to go back and fix that in a little bit. And I want just a little drop right in there. And we're going to there we go. I'm going to play a little bit here with this. Always remember you can just stop pouring and just pull your cup away. I'm not trying to get close to these if I can help it. Sorry about that. I'm just pouring away here, off in my own little world. That looks like a orange sickle. Oh yeah, it does. But anyway, now we're going to stop with that. Now we're going to try an experiment. I always like to find out what's going on, what I can do, what I can't do. So we're going to use some of that we had from the last pours. There's still a little bit left. And hopefully it's not going to muddy up. And we're going to pour right in the middle of where I have been. We're going to try and keep it slow. And just a tiny, tiny string of it coming out through there. There we go. Remember I said don't go back over yourself? Well, sometimes you have to. Just try not to crisscross the lines too much, if you can help it. But if you like that look, go for it. That's just not what I care for. I'm going to let that fall off right there. And let's go over here. And yes, these are going to come together a little bit, and that's okay. The rock knows what it wants to do. It's talking to the paint too. It knows how pretty it wants to be. The first blob out of there is always kind of thick. If you raise your cup a little bit, it'll thin it out. That just takes practice. Now we're getting back into that blue again. So we're just going to let it pour down the side a little bit till we get back to where we want. maybe off down through there. Come back over here. Try not to disturb anything that we like. Well, we didn't get any swirls out of that, but we are getting some pretty colors. But anyway, maybe tonight's just not the night for swirls. You don't always have to have the stir sticks to help you get in there. Just be determined. Learn how the contour of the rock wants to take the paint. Different rocks will act differently. The different kinds of rocks. Not just their shapes, but the different kinds. What kinds are there? I couldn't begin to even tell you. Now then, a couple of places here I don't want to mess up too bad. Oh, and I don't want all that blue right there. Now then. And I'm going very slow about tipping this back because I've got just a tiny, tiny place right there that I would love to put some paint. There it went. Just a tiny place. Now then. And like always, you can come back and paint the underside any color you want. Some people just love black. I like to use a complementary color on the underside, or a color that I've used in the pour. Okay. Well, let's see if we can do it this way then. Maybe. We're going to try. Let's see, where we at? Let's see what happens. This was supposed to be an experiment anyway, so we're just going to try. And I've got that squeezed pretty tight. Now there comes the paint. And there it goes. And you can twirl it a little bit if you want to. And you'll have to just ever so slightly adjust the angle of your wrist. Get that going. And then don't let that last drop hit it. You can either use your finger or manage to get it back quick enough. Now, to help hold that in place, because I don't believe it's going to stay, I'm going to use the torch just a minute and see if we can't slow it down. It may not. If I can get that warm enough, it doesn't have to dry it, just slow it down. But I'm not going to pinpoint one place on the stone and just hold it there. Wow, getting all kinds of cells over here all of a sudden. Now, got that. And this is my damage control. I'm going to use my wild thing here again to help slow that down. It's on low setting, on heat. And let's see if we can't stop it. Because this shouldn't damage the paint or the stone. It's not that hot. You can actually sit and hold your fingers in there. It won't burn. This is just the lowest setting on this. And I'm just going to keep going because I'd like to try and keep that if I can. And see what it's doing. I may not be able to save it, I don't know. but we're going to try. Well then, let's see. Maybe some paint right down there that's trying to drag it down. We're going to wipe that out of the way. Like I said, those drops at the bottom of the stone, they tend to drag the paint down from the top. So we're going to try and stop that. Hopefully, if you stop the bottom, the top will tend to stop with it. We're going to hope, because that's awfully pretty right there. And another way, well, I'm thinking about it. Let's see, how can I do that? Oh, I know how I can do that. I'm not going to use that anymore. Let's try and tilt it up a little bit. Any means necessary. I'm not really trying to dry the paint, just dry to the touch or anything. This is just to slow it down. Sorry about that. You can see what I'm trying to save there. It's not always possible to save these things, but I'm trying.